Welcome back to John Madden Sales. Today for our Madden Method video, we're going to go over Conformation. We have John here, and he is going to give us a little bit of insight into what he looks for in top show jumpers.
Thanks, Becky. We have a horse here. His name is Coach, and I have to admit he's one of my pets. He's one of my favorites. And I particularly chose Coach today because we can give you a nice overview of what we're looking for in general for a top sport horse. So when I'm assessing a horse, I kind of like to start out with a macro view, and then a micro view, and back to the macro view. So when I look at Coach, I just absolutely love his proportions. I want to warn or mention to all the viewers, Conformation is not turnout. We're not talking about the shiniest horse. We're not talking about the horse with the best coat. We're not talking about anything else like that. What we're talking about is God-given physique, his balance, his size, all the things combined that make his body what it is and make him a candidate as a sport horse. There are no perfect horses. I'm not saying Coach is a perfect horse, but what I can say about him is he's got a really, really good proportion. If we look from here, we are at the wither of the horse, the withers up to the point of the croup, back to the tail, hock, stifle. When we see this proportion, the shoulder, the hips, the back, everything fits together very well. You've got the head and neck. The head and neck is a balancer for the rest of the body. If the horse could survive without his head and neck, he wouldn't be able to move without it because it's a balancer. So we look in a macro way at the proportions of the horse, and you can just take a minute there and see that it's almost difficult to tell how tall he is, except that he's standing there next to Becky, because he's quite a well-proportioned horse. So after I've looked at the horse in a macro way, and we see the proportion, we see the head, the neck, the body, then I like to look at more specifics. And when I start at the specifics, I usually start at the bottom. So I want a horse with nice, even feet, that's fairly straight, that's not really crooked. And I'm not going to get into too much details of that right now with Coach. He's not the straightest horse in the world in front, and he's even a little bit crooked behind. But like I said before, there is no such thing as a perfect horse. And so we have to balance these imperfections in Conformation. But in general, he has a pretty good foot. Then I go up, he's got a really nice slope to the pastern, and you can see the front, the wall of the hoof and the angle of the pastern are roughly the same. He's got a good cannon bone. So here's your hoof, the wall. This line is quite parallel to this line. The length of the pastern, I like the length of the pastern in proportion to the horse. I like the slope of the pastern in proportion to the horse. I like the girth of the cannon bone is good. He's got nice tight legs, no big blemishes on the legs, flat knees, good forearm. You want a nice amount of depth in his forearm. Shoulder, I like on him. His withers for a jumper could be more prominent. His jumping bump could be a little bit more prominent. If we come around here to the back, we can really see that it's a very wide horse. I like the width here of the hip, and I like the width here. The width of his hind end has a lot to do with the scope that you're going to get out of the horse. So we have a horse with a nice wide hind end, good strong base. And from the side, we can look, he has good hocks, nice dry hocks, good position. His leg, the way he's standing, his left hind leg is a little bit out, but you can see with the right hind leg up underneath him. He's pretty well balanced behind. Good length of cannon bone. This is the cannon bone, of course. Tendons all look good pastern, good foot. The stifle, we want to check here. There's not a lot of fill in the stifle or anything. And this is a hugely important line for me. From the point of the hip to the point of the croup, I want this line to be fairly long. Whenever that looks really shortened up and cramped up, generally I get a horse with not so much scope. Then we're going, the back is probably about the most important thing of the horse. I want a medium back. This is a pretty medium back. We have the withers back to here. We've got medium length, enough length here. Again, the proportion is good. An extraordinary long or freaky flat back or something can cause back pain, back problems, but this is pretty darn good. And Coach here has a really nice neck, not over cresty, not U-neck, nice ears. I go to the head, and this is one of the most important parts is the head of the horse, because you can, the eyes are the window to the soul. I look at the mouth. I don't want an extremely short area here on the mouth. I want a nice depth here so that the bit can set in nicely. I want a nice wide space here in the jaw, because that tells you a little bit about their breathing. If that's really tight, they might not breathe well. I like to see a good attentive ear, not too big, not too small, not too cute. I want a nice ears. And then on the front of the head and the face, I want to see a nice width between his eyes, good proportions, and I really want to spend some time to try to look at his eye and his expression. His eye and his expression are what really tell me a lot about what kind of horse he is.
So John, what's one message that you'd like our viewers to take away from this?
I think the biggest message I'd like to take away from this is it's not a beauty contest. You're trying to look at the God-given structure of the horse, the bones underneath, the expression, the things that can't change. You're looking, are the horse's legs straight? Are they crooked? Is he back at the knee? And you can read lots of books to find out specific details of conformation. But the thing I really want them to take away is it's not a beauty contest. It's not what's the prettiest horse, not what's the cutest horse. It's the horse that structurally looks really good. Later in some videos, we'll do some retired horses, some young horses. You can do old, you can do skinny horses, you can do fat horses. It doesn't matter. All those things are superfluous. The muscle and the condition he gets in his neck can change. His bone structure under his neck can't change. The bone structure of the shoulder won't change. The bone structure of how he stands won't change. And the other thing you just absolutely need to remember is none of them are perfect. So don't look for perfection. That'll stop you.
Thanks. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Madden Method, the first of many of our Conformation of the Stars videos. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.